and welcome to this edition of Hello Neighbor. I'm so pleased to have our neighbor, Luz Vasudevan, here to get to know a little bit better. Thanks so much for joining us, Luz.
Thank you for having me here.
So we always start from the beginning. Tell us about your childhood. I know you didn't grow up in the United States.
My childhood?
Yes.
Oh, my Lanta, that was so many years ago, but I had a very nice childhood. I was raised in Colombia, in Medellin, and I am the third one. We are 6 kids, and we are 5 girls and 1 boy. So I grew up in a very middle-class family, and my father was a businessman, and my mother was a stay-home mom with 6 kids. And we are all like 1 year apart from each other.
Wow, that must have been a lot of fun.
Yes, I mean, we had so much fun. We used to go for vacation at a farm we had 34 kids that would spend vacation there. My cousins, like my closest cousins, because my father is one of 18 and my mother is one of 10. So my family is a little bit big. So we will go to the farm and it will be so much fun. Yes, we had a lot of fun growing up. I went to a private school, like a Catholic school, until high school. And then my life began.
And you hear so many things about the drug cartels in Medellin. Was that after your time there?
Yes, I mean, we have so many nice things in Medellin that people like to talk only about the drug cartel, but Medellin is a beautiful city. It's called the City of Eternal Spring. And yes, Pablo Escobar was from Medellin. As a matter of fact, he was killed like 4 blocks from my mother's house. So I know exactly the house where he was when he was killed. And yeah, he did a lot of really bad things in Colombia. But one funny thing that he did is he provided housing for a lot of poor people. Like people were living in cardboard boxes, and he built the whole city for them. So for those people, he was like Jesus Christ. Like the day he died, it was like a big storm, and they say, oh, that was Jesus again. He had been born again. So he had a lot of people that loved him in Colombia because he was really bad, but he was very good with the poor people.
Was that because the government? Was that because the government didn't do the things that he was doing, or couldn't do the things that he was doing? Was he siphoning out all the money?
Well, the government doesn't do anything. I'm sorry to talk like that, but I mean, this country has so many benefits and services for the poor people in Colombia. I mean, like the housekeeper that goes to my sister's houses, she has to take 3 buses to go to work. I mean, it's unheard of a housekeeper in Colombia that you have a car. I mean, here in this country, the housekeepers have better cars than us. And I mean, it's very different. Social services in Colombia are very, very limited. I mean, people don't have cash benefits. People don't have food stamps. They don't have any of those things over there. So it's really, really very difficult to be poor in Colombia, and the government will never give like subsidized housing or anything like that. So that's why it was not that he was siphoning the money, it's that he had a lot of money, but he shared it a little bit with the poor people. So.
Well, continuing on, so you had a really nice childhood, a good education there. How did you end up in Lowell, or what was the next step?
Oh, well, so I went to college in Colombia. I went to 3 different universities. And then my sister was doing a master's degree here at Tufts University. And so I decided to come one January, called January 12th of 1982, to this country to visit her. And she didn't have a car. So she asked one of her professors that was very close to her age to take her to the airport, to get me at the airport, because my sister didn't have a car. So he became my husband. So my sister went back to Colombia, and then I married this guy. And And then I went to Tufts University, Framingham State College, Suffolk University, UMass Boston, and then UMass Lowell. Finally, I graduated from UMass Lowell. So I lived in many different places. We lived in Medford, then we moved to Brookline, then we moved to Shrewsbury, then we moved to Westford. That's where my kids grew up, and they graduated from Westford Academy. And then from Westford, I moved, when I got divorced, I moved to another little place in Westford. And then from Westford, I went to Florida for 2 years, came back to Massachusetts, and I live in Tyngsboro now. But I ended up in Lowell. I graduated in UMass Lowell in 1999. And my first job was at Healthy Families on Cabot Street, right next to the brewery. So since then, I have only worked in Lowell. All my 20 years of working life has been in Lowell. I have never lived in Lowell, but I love Lowell. Lowell is like a piece of my heart.
And were you always interested in social services? I know that's the main focus of your jobs.
I went to school to become a Spanish teacher, because even though my kids were educated in Westford, when I go to the parent-teacher conferences, the Spanish teacher will say, wait, I cannot follow you. I'm like, you're teaching my kids Spanish and you cannot follow me in Spanish? So I decided to go to school to become a Spanish teacher. And then one of my friends told me, there is this job in MSPCC. Would you like to apply while you pass your test? Because you have to pass. I passed the Spanish test. I passed it's reading and comprehension and writing to become a teacher. So I passed the reading and comprehension. And so my friend says, until you pass the test, why don't you take this job? I said, sure. So I took it and then I stayed. I became a social worker. So.
And were you working when your children were small?
No, I didn't. I was a stay-home mom. I mean, that was a lot of work, but I was blessed to be able to stay home with the kids. And I was in the old PTOs in the school. I was a chaperone for all their field trips. I was very, very blessed to be able to be with my kids when they were little.
And how do you feel that people in the Latinx community are treated here in the United States? Do you think people really find a home here?
Well, the thing is that here in the United States is a very different kind of life as it is in Latin American countries, because you have so many opportunities here. I mean, getting a job here is so easy. I have been able to find a job like this. I have worked in many, many different organizations in Lowell. And in Colombia, it's very difficult. It's difficult in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Ecuador. So it's very difficult to find a job once you are over 40. So in this country, it's good, but in the other hand, I felt, and I have felt it almost in all my jobs, that I was discriminated. And because of my accent, because of my Latin origins. So I just feel it. I mean, it's so sad that even at this day and age, like where everybody is like supposed to be inclusive and diverse and everything, I still feel like the discrimination. I still feel like I was not treated equal as my other coworkers, like kind of 2 or 3 jobs that I was supposed to be promoted. They didn't promote me. They promoted they hired an American person instead of promoting me, knowing that I had the qualifications for the job that they were posting. But it is what it is, and I am very, very thankful to this country for what it has given me, because I am who I am today because of all the opportunities I had here.
Yeah, and so you worked in many different agencies and organizations in the city. What did you like most and least about your working in Lowell?
What I liked working in Lowell is I was able to make a difference. Like I was, my first job, as I said before, was in MSPCC. I was working with mothers under 20. So of all those mothers, I still am in touch with them. I mean, their kids are 19. They're all going to college now. Like one of them is a high executive at Enterprise Bank in Lowell. She went to school, she went to UMass, and her daughter is in college now. And most of them, I think I know of about 6 of them that their kids are in college. And I was able to give them like the first, because we had the kids until they were 3 years old, but they always stay in touch with me. I mean, even to this day, one of them moved to Colombia. And whenever I go to Colombia, I go and visit them. So it's I make like friendships with people. And once you are in my life, it's like almost you are in my life forever. I have friends from kindergarten. I have friends, and then I have rich friends, poor friends, black friends, white friends, yellow friends, all kinds of people that I make a difference. And that's what I like about my job. Even now, people still call me and say, oh my God, you make, like, I'm moving to Colombia in a couple of weeks, and I have been giving away all my furniture, and people are like, why don't you sell it? I say, why sell it? I mean, people are in so much need. And the other day I went to give a bookshelf and a desk to a girl from Haiti, and she was so thankful. She's like, Luz, you always makes me smile. You always are so nice. And I help her. She's in Middlesex Community College now, and she came to this country. She didn't know English. She was at the shelter. She was homeless. Now she has her own apartment. Now she's a tutor at Middlesex Community College, and she's great. She's doing such a good job. She has a kid that is like 7 years old, and she's so cute, and they are always very thankful, and they always tell me that I have made a difference in their lives.
Well, it sounds like you have such a rich life yourself because of all these connections that you've made over many years in many different areas. You have so much to teach so many people. And maybe that's a little bit of a difference between Colombia, which probably has a very strong community feel, versus the United States, where everybody's traveling and moving from place to place, well, like you. Do you think it's a cultural thing, or just who you are?
I think it's who I am, because I mean, I know a lot of Latino people in this country that are not like me. I mean, people even ask me, how do you do the things you do? Because I will not be able to do what you do. But I think it's in me. I think I got it from my mother, that she was just like me too. And then I have a son that is 32 years old, and he's a doctor, and he's so funny. He's like, Mom, I'm becoming you. He goes and has lunch with his patients, and the patients are like, Doctor, you cannot have lunch with me. And he says, well, no, we are the same. Who cares? So it's just like, I think it was given to me from my mother, and I'm giving it to my kids too. So.
And how about your siblings? Are they the same way? Did they get it all from your mother as well?
Yes, I mean, we are all very, very similar. My sisters are like, 2 of them are retired, and the other one is, well, she's kind of retired. She stopped working when she had her first son, and her son is 32, so she's a zootechnist. And then she never went back to work after she had her first baby. And then the little one, unfortunately, she died like a year and a half ago. So, yep. So, but they are all like they do a lot of community work. They do a lot of service there too. So I'm planning to do that with them once I go back.
So tell me a little bit about the LCCE, which I believe you're the founder of it. So how did that happen, and what impact do you think it has in Lowell?
Well, LCCE, I had a dream since many years ago to start my own organization. And I really didn't know what was involved in starting your organization. So I did a program called Empower with the Lowell Alliance and CBA. And then once I finished my CBA, my program, the Empower program, I asked Nancy Cohen that if they knew of an organization in Lowell that worked with the Latino community, because I didn't know any organization. So at that time, there was an organization that the CBA was running. It was called ALL, All, Asociación Latina de Lowell. So I joined that organization for about 2 years. And in that organization, I met Diego Leonardo, and we decided we were not doing the things we wanted to do in the community, and we were like having meetings every 2 weeks, but we were not going anywhere. So Diego and me, we decided to start our own organization. So I quit my job at the House of Hope on January 4th of 2019, and decided to go full time with the organization. I had no idea what was involved. I just decided I'm going to start a nonprofit organization. I'm going to help the Latino community in Lowell, and I went. So I was able to find a beautiful office space on Kirk Street and quit my job. And I had some savings because I still had to pay my mortgage and all my bills, but I said, something will happen, you know? And I didn't know that it will take like 2 or 3 years for you to be able to get some salary or something like that. But anyway, so I'm glad I didn't know, because if I had known, I would not have done it. So we started on January, and I had been hired before, just a little bit before them, by Felicia, I don't remember her last name, to be to give like a workshop at Acre Daycare, Acre or Acre, I never know how to say that word.
Acre
Daycare. So we did like 40 women, and they all have been in this country for about 20 years, and none of them knew English, because they say we take care of kids. They were all daycare providers. So we take care of kids all day, and then they do the English classes at the high school in the evenings, but we are exhausted. I mean, after taking care of 7 kids the whole day, it's not easy to go and learn a language. So that was one of my first things that we did at LCCE, and that is for Latinx Community Center for Empowerment. So we started English classes. So we had, we didn't even promote it. So we had like around 40 students like for the first classes. And it was so nice because we'll do it on Saturdays from 9 to 12. And we had great attendance. I mean, people loved it. We will have empanadas. We will go to Panela and get food from there for snacks. Sorry. So we started with the classes, and then a couple of people approached me or approach us and say, why don't you do some Spanish classes? I said, oh, that's a good idea. And I had been tutoring a kid from Lowell, not a kid, he's a grown-up. Billy, he's a very good volunteer in the city of Lowell. So I was tutoring him in Spanish, and he says, yeah, that will be great. So we started a Spanish class with 7 students from Lowell. I mean, they were mainly adults that wanted to learn Spanish when they go traveling. And so we started the Spanish classes too. So it was great. And then we started referring people to different things in the city of Lowell. Like we were able to get like 4 people to get the citizenship. We were able to do the paperwork for them. We have a lawyer as one member of our board. So, and she's an immigration lawyer, and she's from Mexico, and she has been doing great things with the Latino community. So we do that in the Latinx. I have seen it because in March of this year, I decided to get out of LCCE. So I gave my resignation. It was a little bit of a sad thing for me because that was my baby. And, but it didn't work out. So I decided to leave, but I am still in touch with many of the volunteers for LCCE, and they did a lot of work during the census. They did a lot of work during the elections. And they also have been very involved with helping the city of Lowell with food and with market basket gift cards. So they have been very, very active with the city at this time.
Why do you think it took so long to have an organization for the Latinx community? The CMAA is such a great model for the Cambodian community, but there seemed to be such a big need that you found.
I mean, there have been other organizations, like before it was a Latino health center. I mean, there have been, but unfortunately, they don't survive. I mean, I know a couple of people that have started different organizations for the Latino community, but they don't survive. And that was my hope, that something good will happen in this organization, because I had so many dreams for that organization, and I hope they will continue, because it's something needed in the community. And then I think we were able to pair with Savannah from CMAA, and he's like our mentor. He has been great mentoring us and teaching us what to do. And so I think it's a great connection with the two organizations. We want to be like a photocopy of them. And Savannah was willing to teach us everything that he knew, and he has been a great, great asset for the organization.
That's great. Well, just in order to be transparent, you're also on the board of directors of LTC. And why did you want to join the board of LTC?
Because I think LTC does such a great job with the community of Lowell, and you are such a good asset. We are so sad that we are going to lose you. I think everybody knows that you are leaving too. But anyways, so LTC does a lot of good programming for the community, and my goal was to have a program for the Latino community. I know you have Nancy Peña, which does Colores, what is the name?
Colores Latinos.
Yes. So Nancy does a program for the Latino community, but I wanted something like going to the community. Like we did an event at the organization on November 8th of 2019, and you went there, you filmed the whole event, you were so nice.
So many people came.
I know, it was such a great success, and the only reason I remember the date is because it's my son's birthday. So November 8th, and we were so thankful that, I mean, the executive director of LTC comes to film us and to do a little show. And that was a great thing, because you don't see too many people in your position. That's what I like about LTC, that people are there in the community and helping the community and making sure the community is informed of what is going on in the city of Lowell. So that's what I wanted to join LTC, because I think it's a great organization.
Well, thank you so much. Well, we've really enjoyed having you and having a little more access to the Latinx community in Lowell. But now moving forward, you're selling your stuff, you're selling your condo, you're going to move back to Colombia, to Medellin. Will you be surrounded by family and friends there? Is it going to be a real homecoming?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. They are all waiting for me. I can't wait to go there. Yes, it's going to be, it's like I did here, and then now it's my time to go back to the place where I have a lot to give to, because I have so many things that I can give at this time. So like they say, never forget your roots, never forget where you came from. And I'm very blessed that I'm able to go back and enjoy my family, my friends, and the community. It's a huge community there. And it's a lot of need.
Will your children be excited to be able to go back and visit you in Colombia rather than the United States?
Well, one of my sons lives in New York. The other one lives in France. So yeah, they're excited. I mean, they're like, Mom, whatever makes you happy, go there. I mean, they're happy because they were a little bit concerned when I was here by myself with the coronavirus. So they say, because I have asthma, and they are like, Mom, don't go anywhere. Like, I have a timeshare in Martha's Vineyard, and I wanted to go there in July, and they are, no, you are not going anywhere. You can afford to have another vacation another time in your life, not now. Say, I will not talk to anybody. And my son is like, you will have to be in the ferry, hello. So yeah, they are happy that I'm going to be with family, because I live by myself here, and they worry. They worry that something happens to me and I'm alone. So they are very, very excited. And I'm very close with my sisters and my brothers. So I think it's going to be a great thing.
Well, that's great. Well, you're certainly not alone here in Lowell, that's for sure. But thank you so much for coming on. We've really had a great conversation, and I wish you all the best in your retirement and your life back in Colombia.
Thank you, and come and visit me. I heard you went to Santa Marta recently.
Yes.
So now you have to go to Medellin, and you are welcome to stay with me.
As soon as this dumb pandemic's over, we're going to be out of here. So thank you.
Don't say dumb pandemic. It's a great thing if we look at the good side of the pandemic. It has brought a lot of nice things. I mean, for me, I found myself during the pandemic. I found a lot of people that the pandemic has given them a lot of good things. I mean, I know I hear like the pandemic, everybody's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I think it has been a good thing. For me, it has been a good thing. So I just...
I haven't heard that point of view, but that's wonderful. You know, we are all changing, and I'm sure there are things that are going to be better after this pandemic because of how we had to adapt.
Yeah, and how you have to reflect on yourself, on your life, and you had time to do that reflection. So I think it was a good thing that happened.
Great.
And it's going away. Everything passes. This one shall pass too.
Eventually. Well, thank you very much, and see you later.
Thank you for having me here. Okay.
Thank you for watching. Hello, neighbor.